doing this video to talk about misdemeanor basics for California criminal law. If a person's accused of a misdemeanor, it could be a crime that's worth a maximum of anywhere from about usually 6 months to a year of jail. With a misdemeanor, a person, if they can't afford a private attorney, they can request that the court would appoint a public defender. Typically, when I'm retained for a misdemeanor case, I will go to court the first date, and the client, we try to go to court as many times as possible because there can be numerous court dates. And we try to go without the presence of the client so that they don't have to miss out on work or risk losing their job. Typically, the first court date we go, nothing really much happens other than you're told what the charges are, and sometimes we're given something called the complaint, which lists the official charge. Oftentimes we get the police reports at that time, reports later digitally through the district attorney's office. Police reports usually are not given to the accused. You can't see their address or their phone number. Things like that have to be redacted. After you plead not guilty, we set it for future court dates. It could be just a few court dates before a trial. But in any event, usually there's at least a month or two before something major will happen in the case. In the meantime, in that space of time, well, what I do typically is I will review the police reports and then I will go over them with the client. And we talk about strategy, figure out whether any motions have to be written and filed with the court to attack the case. Perhaps the police officers did something illegally in how they approached you or arrested you, or how they obtained evidence. At the same time, we're working on two different tracks. We might be working on developing a strategy for negotiating and settling the case in a way that's acceptable to the accused to minimize or reduce the problems that are presented with these charges. The second track is if the resolution can't be had with a negotiation, then you start moving towards going to trial. Typical misdemeanors that we represent people for, and we take all misdemeanors, DUIs, domestic violence, driving on a suspended license, shoplifting, those are the most typical. We see in courts, you're going to see a lot of domestic violences and a lot of DUIs. DUIs tend to be the costliest misdemeanors to take on because they require a lot more work. There's science involved. You're going to have a police witness involved. You're going to have something called a toxicologist who will testify about how the chemical reaction of alcohol is measured in your body. And there's no reason to just plead guilty. That's really a bad idea at the very beginning of the case. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not, really. What matters is what kind of defense are you putting forward and what kind of presentation of materials are you giving to the court or to the district attorney to try to give you a better deal to get out of this, to protect your career, your green card, your reputation.